host a podcast called Unschooled. So we watch a lot of classic great movies, and when we saw this movie, we said, well, we have to do an episode on this movie because it's an automatic classic. It blew me away, and it blew me away on a small screen because I watched it on Netflix because that's where I saw it the first time. And to see it here, I mean, this is the only place to see it. And we're both so kind of impressed with this. I want to just talk about one thing, which is 300 days. It took you to make this movie, right? Yeah. That's 300 days. 323. What is that like? Like that's a marathon. How do you approach this? Like I want to understand like on day one, how do you go? All right, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, we take an episode by episode, schedule by schedule. We don't plan everything at once. We plan, for example, Beam's introduction is there. That's the only thing we plan. We plan for it, shoot for 15 days, 20 days, whatever it is. Then take a break, prepare for the next episode, and shoot it. So we don't shoot it at one go, but this we shot it for a period of 1.5 years to take out the COVID breaks. So yeah, that's how we
shot this during COVID too?
No.
Give them all the awards. Yeah, that's amazing. So everyone's freaking out on Tom Cruise. They did that 2 years before COVID. But yeah, Amy, you're
Well, yeah, and also I think part of what blows my mind watching this here is that this is an independent movie. And like here in the States, when we think independent movie, we usually think a little bit smarter than us, like a lot. But you have your team found the money. That means this is a movie where you're in complete control. You don't have anybody telling you no. You just have your ability to say yes. Is that true? Is there a limit to how many yeses you can say?
Yeah, I mean, yes, all I can say is yes. I mean, we have traditionally been that way. Studio system is not so prevalent in India. We take independent films, but I always wanted to be adventurous. I always started pushing a little bit more than the market, pushing my budgets more than the market. So my previous films, Bahubali, were the biggest films. So they went much beyond the market, and actually we created markets for my films. So RRR was not so different in that we already had an existing market for whatever the money we were spending.
But this is a script that you wrote with your father, who is 80 years old. I mean, as you're writing this movie, as you're being like, okay, in this fight scene, we're gonna have tigers and hyenas and bears and stags fighting in slow motion. Are you ever thinking like, maybe this is a bit much, I should scale it back a little bit?
No, never.
Is your dad going, and he picks up the motorcycle? Like, how does that dynamic work when you're writing together? What do you each bring?
I mean, how we work is that I create those insane moments, crazy moments, but my dad understands that to create that kind of crazy moment, there has to be an emotional basement, right, to build this crazy moments. So I create the crazy moments. He builds a thread which ties all these together, and also a basement for all of these things to stand together. So I create the moments, he creates the story.
Well, and a little bit more information about your dad. I learned that he recently just got nominated to be on Parliament in India. Like, he is now a government. If you guys don't have time to work with you to write movies where one man rides on another man's shoulders holding two guns.
Not a politician. He didn't join the politics, but he became a member of parliament on a special quota. He doesn't belong to any political party, but he loves doing some kind of service for the land that has given him so much. That's what he says, and he's a workaholic. He gets up 5 a.m. in the morning, and from the time he starts working, He never takes Sundays off, no holidays. He says, "Do you want to go for a holiday?" He says, "It's a waste of time." So from morning till evening, every day,
He's mad at you when you take those
24/7.
breaks, when you take those breaks in this movie, he's mad. He's like, "Come on, go, let's go."
I mean, he writes so many movies, not just for my movies. He's a top writer in the country, so he writes for many other movies as well.
Well, this is the question I have. Obviously, this is not your first film. You are a giant director. You've had tons of blockbusters, each one of them a giant hit. So this is not new that you see people loving your work, but it is interesting that it's a movie that kind of breaks through in a way that, what do you attribute to this movie breaking through here? You know, I think now I think a lot of people I've talked to, like, did you see this one? Did you see this one? And tomorrow there's a 10-hour screening of all your and it was like, oh yes, I gotta see this, I gotta see this. Do you think there is something about, like, what do you think was the perfect sauce for this that made it kind of come to it?
Very frankly, I don't know. I make films for Indian sensibilities. I know how Indian sensibilities work. That's how I grew up. I never expected RRR to go into the West as much as it did. So I'm absolutely thrilled, no doubt about it. Because in my wildest dreams, I didn't expect RRR to reach the audience this way, because I thought Western sensibilities were different. I was so wrong.
You were doing what we want. Like, no one makes this, and everyone wants this so bad. But are you? Is there a part of you that's like, yeah, fine. You like, you know, like, did you want to be, you know, seen this way in the West? You don't care. Like, you're like, I'm making my movies. I'm making blockbusters that are giant, and I have my audience. Do you care to kind of get over here and have a hit here as well?
How do I put it? See, people here like RRR because of the way I made it. I didn't make it, I didn't change my style of making, I just made it the way I made it. Now if I suddenly think now I have to change my style and do down someone else's hat, right, then I'm being neither. I'm not being honest to myself. So I have to make the films that I make that are to my sensibilities and take them to the Western audiences. I think that's the way I should do it.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, the worst thing that I could see is, like, I'm sure people come to you like, hey, Fast 12, we want you to direct it. You know, Tom Cruise has got an idea like that, because I think you have to make your movie. You shouldn't be put into a studio system, right? Or people, I'm sure people are coming to you with ideas, right? Or
yeah, there are some ideas. No offense, I love the movies that you mentioned. Like
I do too. I do too.
The latest Tom Cruise movie.
Great.
Fantastic. Really,
Yeah, they're all great.
But I would like to make my own kind of movies and make them bigger, make them much more bigger and
Are there actors in Hollywood you'd love to work with that you think?
So many, like you were mentioning Tom Cruise. There are many.
Now, if you use Tom Cruise, he'd have to really throw a motorcycle in a time. He would too. No special effects right now.
Yeah, he would take them on a flight and then throw.
I mean, about, you know, like, I saw this movie when it played just opening weekend here in America, not knowing anything about it. And I only learned afterwards that your characters, Naseem and Raju, are, you know, real people who were, you know, who did things a century ago in India that made them very famous. And I didn't know that origin story. Like, could you tell me more about who the real men were?
Yeah, I don't want to take history lesson, but I'll keep it as simple as possible. Our country, India, was under the rule of the crown or British government for 90 years, and before that, East India Company was almost de facto rulers of the much of the country for 200 years before that. So, in these many years, there were many freedom fighters who were fighting for their existence, for their freedom, for their honor, right? So in my state, the place I come from, it is divided into two states, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. From Andhra Pradesh is the Allur Sitaramraju, Ram, played by Ram, and Kumramji from Telangana, he was from that state. Interestingly, both of them never met each other in history. But both of them were born at the same time. They left their houses when they were about 20. They left their houses, respective houses, and we don't know what happened to them. There is no record of them what happened to them for 2-3 years. Then they came back. When they came back, they were different men, and they started inspiring the people to take up arms and fight against the oppressors. And interestingly, both of them died in the hands of British. So it is the resemblances or the coincidences were like very interesting for me as a filmmaker. So I thought I would take those 2-3 years whom no one knows about, and I will bring them together. You know, that's I thought was a great idea, and that's how.
You are good. I'm gonna go with this audience, which is a scary proposition, because I'll let you offer up any questions, anything you want to ask, but make it good, right? Because we have limited time. So, yes, if you're in the front row, I feel like you deserve a question. So, all right, here you go. Let's get a picture of the question. All right, what's your question? I'll hold the mic.
I feel like India as a film industry is more like it has come through a lot of right now. By the way, like like any sort of visual effects. So I wanted to ask if you are working more on using AI and how to create stuff like deepfakes to like special effects.
The question is, would you like to use deep fakes in your film? Would you like to put the head of Marlon Brando on somebody playing it? Would you use experimental technology?
First and foremost, we have to understand whether it's the traditional VFX or the new technologies of artificial intelligence. I hear so many things that I don't understand properly. But we have to primarily understand those are tools that you can tell your story. Those are not characters. So experimenting or not experimenting, using AI is not experimenting. Trying to tell a story in a different way or trying to tell a different story is experimenting. For my stories, if I feel that those technologies are needed, I will definitely use them.
Another question again. You're wearing a tie, so I went to you. I feel like you're going to deliver a good question. Here we go.
So first off, thank you. Also, this is a lot of Americans and people from the West first introduction to Indian cinema, so I'm wondering if there's anything you would want a Western audience to know about Indian cinema, past or present.
Give us the whole history right now. Indian cinema.
Obviously, as an Indian, I would like to the world to know the stories of India. As a filmmaker, I would like to tell them to the Western audience. There are so many stories. It's a huge treasure trove. Indians are so crazy that they use story for everything. Even to tell the deepest philosophy, they use a story. So that's the way we are. So I would really want the rest of the world to know the Indian stories, and I'm greedy. I want to be at the forefront to tell those stories to them.
I got a question up here. Okay, go for it. You read your question off your notes. Okay, go for it. Your notes have pictures, so we're gonna see it.
So when you made this movie, did you build characters knowing that you wanted them to play your heroes? And why did you think they would be the right ones to portray?
Okay, why did I want NTR and Ram Charan for these characters? I can go on and on about how perfectly they suit the characters. True, they do, but the real thing is, I wanted to do a multi-starrer, and working with one star itself is such a pain, and imagine having two stars together. So the only way that this could work is that there should be a bonding, there should be a friendship between the stars who are working for this film. The only two stars in the entire country who are very, very close to each other, close friends, are Ramcharan and Khan. So that is the reason why it happened.
All right, I have a question up here. What's the question?
So first of all, it's incredible how you just revolutionized cinema for the rest of the time. Thank you for that. I've noticed a lot of the way you film like conceptualized shots is very like picturesque, as if every single frame is meant to be like screen capped. And the flow of action is almost like it's like animated, like almost like you were the closest to like portraying live action anime, right? What are your influences like visually when you like film your process behind that?
Primarily, I love action. I like fights, action sequences in the movie. And at some point of time, I don't know when, I realized that emotion gets enhanced if you place it during an action. At the same time, the action makes much more impact if it's emotionally driven. So that is my way of going forward. None of the action set pieces that come in the movie is not just for the action's sake. There is some kind of story going behind it. I think that gives the flow.